Imagine your life without a car. How would you get from place to place? The topic of the Amish should be important to you because there is an Amish community just 10 miles from Canton. The Amish must follow many rules. To help you understand, we will look at the rules about clothing, transportation, and electricity. So let's begin to look at the Amish's rules on clothing. According to the Elizabethtown College study of the Amish in the section of regulations, the Amish are required to wear the same clothing to represent collective order. They are not to wear clothing to represent personal expression, and their clothing is typically homemade. The women typically make their clothing and they try to get as much use out of it as possible. The men are required to grow a beard with no mustache and wear an Amish-style hat and vest. The women are required to wear a head covering and a dress. The children's required dress is very similar to the adults. In this image, you are able to see the comparison and similarities to the Amish dress. This is the man's dress, and you're able to compare that and see the similarity between him and the little boys. And then same with the woman's. You're able to see the similarities to the little girls. Next, we will look at the Amish's rules on transportation. The main reason the Amish have rules on transportation, according to the Elizabethtown College study of the Amish in the section of technology, because they have a fear of foreign values being introduced into their group. This is the main reason that they have rules on most of everything. They do not want foreign values to be introduced to their group. This is why cars are not allowed to be used. Cars aren't allowed to be used because they're able to travel a far distance, and this would spread the group out and not make them as close, which allows for foreign values to be brought into their group. Instead of cars, the Amish main form of transportation is horse and buggy. This limits the distance of the group. They can only travel a small distance, which keeps them close and allows for foreign values not to be placed into the group. Finally, we will look at the Amish's rules on the use of electricity. According to the Inkney Village's Article 15 Great Rules Amish follows in life, they don't typically use power from power lines. Electricity is typically avoided unless safety is an issue. For example, they are able to use electricity for flashers on their buggies and to power fences that have animals inside. Also, if the Amish are running a business, they are more likely to be able to use more power because they need the power to run the business. This includes phones and indoor light. Phones just for the business use, not personal use. They're not supposed to have social media because this can allow for the foreign values to be brought into the group. And indoor light, it's a safety issue for businesses. They have to have indoor light, so this is the reason they're able to do so. Batteries are their main source of electricity, according to the Elizabethtown College research on the Amish. They use the batteries to power almost everything. The flashers on the buggies are powered by battery. Calculators, cash registers, flashlights, copy machines, and fans. They use battery for all of their power, and that is how they're able to have the power that they're able to use. Some groups are stricter than the other groups and have different rules, so this is why some of the rules are different for different groups. Some are allowed to use more power than others, and some aren't. To conclude, the Amish have many rules. We have looked at their rules about clothing, transportation, and electricity. Would you be able to follow the many rules of the Amish?